in this fight, man, who has more to lose right here? Luque has the bigger name. Geoff Neal is more dangerous for the number next to his name, personally. But if you look at it, Geoff Neal's last 5, he has losses to Neil Magny and Wonderboy Thompson. Wins against Nico Price, knocked him out. Win against Mike Perry, knocked him out. And then a win against Santiago Ponzinibbio, split decision. Rare decision victory for Geoff Neal. Who has more to lose?
I think it has to be Vicente Luque, man. And is going on a 2-fight losing streak to 2 dudes that are on the up and up, like Bully B, and then now going to be Geoff Neal. And Geoff Neal, not really so much on the rocket ship ride that Bilal Muhammad is, but still, either way, still climbing, man. He's only 14-4. You go from being the Vicente Luque who was kind of overlooked, didn't have a big name value to him, and then he starts coming up, and people start realizing who he is, getting the knockouts, getting the wins. I mean, you go through it, man. Submitting Michael Chiesa, big win right there. Submitting Tyron Woodley, again, a big win. Randy Brown, KO. There's a lot of these fights, and he also knocked out Nico Price. I forgot about that one. Mm-hmm. But then you drop one to Bilal Muhammad, and then you drop another one to Geoff Neal. I think it's really starting to look rough for Vicente Luque. I think he has a lot more to lose on this fight. What about you?
I mean, yeah, if you think about it, Luque's kind of been calling for his shot at the title. You know what I mean? So he wants a shot against Usman, and a win against Geoff Neal isn't really going to do that for you because it doesn't even really make sense that this fight is taking place. 6 versus 13. Like, if you're Luque, why are you fighting down? Is it just because you want to fight? How did this fight get matched up? Either way, I do think that this will give him another opportunity to get into that top 5 again and then, kind of work the magic, man. But let's talk about strategy here. Geoff Neal, he's one of the sharpest dudes on the feet when it comes to just being a tactician, being technical, and just, mixing up to the body, going up to the head, doing what he needs to do. Sharp. Vicente Luque is a bit of a wild man where he'll walk you down reckless, throw big bombs. He'll eat one to give you one. And he always has that submission threat in his back pocket. That's the thing that makes him such a scary fighter is that when the fight hits the floor, if you're not careful, man, if you're not pulling a perfect Bilal Muhammad-esque performance, you could very well get submitted. Like legitimately, like Tyron Woodley did or like all these other dudes have. So I don't know, man. Do you think that Vicente Luque, because Geoff Neal is very much a own the center of the cage, right? I'm going to walk you down. Do you think Vicente Luque is going to try to skirt back against the cage, or do you think he's going to try to take the authority? He's going to steal the center of the ring, and he's going to be able to, because of his jiu-jitsu background, because of his grappling acumen, be able to walk forward with reckless abandon and not care about what Geoff Neal does and really put Geoff Neal on the back foot?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the latter, man. When I was watching Vicente Luque, just going back over a couple of these other fights, I really thought this fight's going to go exactly how Geoff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio went. Ponzinibbio walking forward, throwing crazy stuff, reckless abandonment, trying to get to the hips, but not really. But I think Vicente Luque can get to the hips if he needs to, or he gets hurt, and then he starts playing the jiu-jitsu game. There's a lot of other things that Vicente Luque does not better than Santiago Ponzinibbio. It's just a different form. He's a little younger, so he has a little bit more vigor to him. And I think that fight's going to be very similar in the ways in which they're performed. And if you look at it, man, Geoff Neal, working off the back foot, did look good. He had the shots. He was able to circle out. He was doing all the right stuff. I just think this is the next step against the Santiago Ponzinibbio fight.
What does it mean to you that he won a split decision against Santiago Ponzinibbio? Because Ponzinibbio is super game, man. He's super game. What does it mean to you that it was split? That was contention in that victory?
I was watching this one back, and I was like, man, was this one split? Like a lot of people did think Santiago Ponzinibbio won, but I think he won the first 2 rounds. If you're gonna give him any, if you're gonna score it for Ponzinibbio, you give him the first 2 rounds, and then Geoff Neal really runs away with it. So I think that's where Vicente Luque can kind of stride or can kind of outstep Luque or outstep Geoff Neal in this one. He can keep the pressure going the entire time. He's not going to fade. And if he does, then he gets hurt, and then he has jiu-jitsu to fall back on. So I think there's a whole other fold to the Luque game plan. Okay. Where I don't know if it'll be split this time, but I had to go watch that one because I saw split decision. I was like, man, was it that close? It was that close.
So Vicente Luque has 2 submission wins in his last 5 victories, right? Which is pretty impressive. 2 of those Darce chokes you always have to watch out for. Geoff Neal, on the other hand, if you really look at it, man, if his losses 2 decisions, 1 knockout and 1 submission, and the only knockout of his career was in 2017 against Kevin Holland back in Texas at XKO. So if you really look at it, man, it's going to be a long, and I don't want to do another one of these. All right, every fight going to decision because it hasn't happened before. Just because it hasn't happened before doesn't mean that it won't happen. But who has a higher likelihood of a finish? To be completely honest here, man, I think it's going to be tough for Vicente Luque to choke out Geoff Neal. I mean, look at who's the dude's fought. You know what I mean? A knockout would be kind of ideal, but then again, hand of steel also has a chin of steel too. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, who has a better shot of really getting a finish in this one?
Man, I agree with you because you're right. Geoff Neal, hands of steel. Neal also has a chin of steel, chin of granite, whatever you want to phrase it. He really does. But you look at those odds, man. Plus 350 for the KO, plus 525 for the submission. Worse, the odds makers are kind of seeing it as the decision, man. That plus 165. I think Luque has the better chance of getting the finish, but not really, man. Because if Geoff Neal is able to put together like a nice 3-piece combo and really stun Luque, and then let him get up and put it to him again and put it to him again, and let him get him up again, then I see Geoff Neal really running away with this one. But I don't really see either of these fighters getting finished. Do you?
It's going to be tough, man. If anything, man, I see Vicente Luque being able to mix it up just a little bit more to give that element of surprise, right? For Geoff Neal, it's going to be one game plan. He wants to knock you out. So how can he get it done? Vicente Luque does get wild in his exchanges, though. So if he gets caught in the midst of one of those exchanges, yeah, of course, man, his chin could, really get touched. But this is what concerns me, man. Look at the over and under, man. 2.5, right? Minus 135 for the under, plus 105 for a decision to go over. It's only a 3-round fight. So the odds makers, once again, want to see a finish. They think there's a higher likelihood of a finish happening. The hard part is, do you just say, all right, I mean, Vicente Luque, I mean, I don't have odds for just like in the distance, either fighter, you know what I mean? Like I don't have odds for that. So it has to be specific. So it's just like, who do you pick? And I'm really, folks, you can see the struggle on our faces here trying to figure this one out because we don't necessarily always pick the methodologies before, we have to talk it out and figure it out. So in this moment right now, is decision the juiciest prop right here for Vicente Luque, man? Is that the best odds that you can get? Or do you think that you should chase the TKO here?
Man, sheesh. I was honestly thinking if there's gonna be a random surprise, because I'm kind of leaning more towards the decision. That's where my head is. That's where, like, in my mind, the safe bet is. But if there's gonna be a random something sort of ever that happens, it's gonna be very difficult. Don't get me wrong. I think that submission, that plus 525, is looking a little more juicy than the TKO because I don't think he can knock out Geoff Neal. I also don't think he could submit Geoff Neal, but if there's going to be something crazy that happens, I feel like it's going to be that submission.
Yeah, man. If you look at the decisions, his last decision win for Vicente Luque was against Mike Perry. That was back in 2019. He's basically been on a knockout streak since then. Fuck it, man. I'm just going to go... I'm going to go TKO, brother. I'm going to go TKO. I'll give you... I don't know if you're going to rock with that submission truly, if you're going to jump on the decision, but I'm going to rock with the TKO, and I'll go under 2.5. What do you got, brother?
I'm doing it. I'm going submission. I'm going submission early round 2.
Okay. So we're both taking the under on that fight. I got TKO. You got submission, and watch it end up being a decision. Watch, of course, the one likelihood that we don't want to have happen. But all right, so yeah, we both got Vicente Luque on the board here against Geoff Neal. I do think, though, folks, I'm going to give you a heads up right now. If there's any fight to hedge on this slate of fights right here, it's Geoff Neal. You hedge a money line bet on him plus 150. Throw just a couple dollars on it. Throw a half a unit. Throw a unit. Whatever you want to do, but do that, and then that will definitely give you a safety net here because Vicente Luque, even though I do think he should be the rightful winner, Geoff Neal will always make it interesting. I'll just say that.